Apex Construct is a first-person action-adventure title for VR, where you play as the only human being on Earth, and you're trying to find out what caused the end of the world. It's really exciting.
Fast Travel Games is a video-exclusive game studio here in Stockholm, Sweden, where we really try to understand and learn what it takes to make immersive VR games.
We are 16 people. We're all based in this office. Many of us has worked with big AAA titles like Battlefield or Just Cause.
We started Fast Travel Games in the spring of 2016, and we basically said that we want to work with VR, and we want to be there when VR takes off.
Apex Construct is an action-adventure set in a post-apocalyptic world where you wake up and you're the only human left.
All animal life and human life disappeared in a blink of an eye. You need to use your wits and skills to figure out what has happened, and you find yourself in a conflict between two AIs.
Taking on these robots, exploring, solving puzzles, and ultimately finding out what happened to the world and maybe if you can restore it to what it once was.
The inspiration behind Apex Construct is initially my love of sci-fi stories and old sci-fi novels, etc. So I wanted to build a world that is empty but still very, very full of life. We wanted to build a game that you could only play in VR. So that's where we started working with the bow and arrow mechanic.
The main thing for us when creating the bow and arrow mechanics was to create something that made you feel awesome. Some people prefer us helping them aligning the arrow with the bow, and some people prefer to just aim everything natural. They have the option to do that as well.
It's a Swedish environment. It takes place in Stockholm. We were inspired a lot by buildings and architecture around here.
It's just to get that sort of exotic touch in our home city. And Sweden is not really represented in that many games.
We went for a stylized approach. The lore and the setting is kind of like a weird, almost 1980s that went apocalyptic.
The average gameplay is probably around 5 to 7 hours. We also added a competitive game mode called Signa Cup Challenge, where you basically shoot at targets in an arena to get your high score up on an online leaderboard.
One of the really great things about HTC Vive was that it came with motion controllers from the beginning. That really shaped us as a studio, what we were able to do and what games we wanted to make. So being able to actually give players hands in VR and actually make them feel immersed.
Getting awards is fantastic because you put your heart and soul into creating something and really helps us as a studio.
A massive morale booster to the team here to get that kind of recognition.
Right now we're developing 2 new titles. One which is a narrative-driven puzzle game, which is a kind of a small passion project for us in the studio. The other thing is we're co-developing the sequel to Budget Cuts with Neat Corporation, and both of those games are coming out in 2019. If you want to play Apex Construct and haven't already, you can find it on Viveport and Viveport Infinity.